And holy crap, we are back. We're here with Mr. Shuttle himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Gratzen Gets, welcome back to the stream. So, we are so pumped up because the World Championships of Warhammer is coming up. Shuttle and I actually already traveled to the Team World Championships earlier this year, and we had a grand old time. Had the best placement that Team Norway's ever done, so yay, that was a blast. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to travel to the United States for the singles, and we're both going to have the best placements that Norway's ever had in singles as well. Isn't that right, Mr. Shuttle?
We certainly aim for that.
Hey, hey, baby. And we've actually got two other guys who are traveling with us, so just shout out to them. We got Mr. Victor Bergenholtz, and we have Yul Holm. And I butchered Yu's name because I always do, and Shuttle can pronounce it better than I can because, it is what it is.
It's you.
You.
Yes.
Nice. So forgive me butchering people's native tongues. It just is what it is. All right, so what we're doing today, we have an interesting structure for the World Championships of Warhammer. We're going to go through some seriously sick list. We're going to break down some of the really coolest ones. GW kind of threw a curveball at us, and they changed the way the pod structure was originally going to be. So originally we were going to have just 8 pods, and the top 2 from each pod were going to be going on in the championship round, and that's what was written in the player pack. But if I've learned any lesson, it's never to rely on GW to not change their minds at the last minute. So basically now, out of nowhere, we have 16 pods instead of 8 pods, and it's just the winner of each pod that's going to go on to the top 16 championship round, and everyone else from those pods will go into the world round playing against each other for country status and stuff. If you guys want to know how the structure of that works out, I did a video 2 days ago or something explaining how the World Championships works. Everything's exactly the same, except now it's 16 pods and not 8 pods. And with that, holy crap, man, we've got some sick stuff. Mr. Shuttle, should we just get going?
Let's get going.
All right, man. So let's just start this. I'm going to start with my pod. So I am in pod 6, and we have some really, really cool armies that are in pod 6. So I kind of want to put a little highlight of them. Guys, I'll tell you what my list is and everything as well. I'm probably not going to go super in-depth in my list, just, because, well, for obvious reasons, I don't really want people to understand how my list works. It's a little weird. I don't want people to understand how it works yet. But I will do it after the WCW, for sure. Actually, before I start these lists, Shuttle, was there any big surprises for you? Because I tell you what, I was a little bit surprised by the things that we saw. Not nearly as much freaking Death Guard as I expected.
I think because we mostly look at European lists.
Yeah.
For that are prime for WTC style terrain and UKTC and such.
Yep.
I don't think we necessarily expected mentally a lot of the very heavy gun lines that we see in some of the lists we've had. But on the other hand, I kind of expected not that heavy of a jail type setup in some of the lists I've seen, at least in my pod.
Yeah, dude. So for me, the thing that really, really surprised me is how many Horde lists are showing up. I figured Hordes would be completely out, but there are, I'm about to show you one from my pod here in less than a minute. And I definitely play in my army not to necessarily have to mess with too many Hordes. And I could have been a swing and a miss. So let's jump into it. Let me go into this first list. So I'm in pod 6, and all these guys are in pod 6. So number 1, this is a shout out to Brian Crowthers, cool guy. He is actually running a triple ACDC, which is actually pretty surprising to me. And he's running it in Chaos Cult, so it's not Renegade Raiders. Chaos Cult is a spicy way to run it because they get the bonuses to charge, which is really, really strong. They don't get the bonus AP, which is, so there's a little bit of a trade-off on the ACDC. So if you guys don't know ACDC, it's going to be the Accursed Cultist Dark Commune. It's the thing that, it's the leaders that give the Accursed Cultist Blob the 5-up invuln, and then the once per game, the advance to charge, and the +1 to hit and wound. So Chaos Cults is pretty darn sick. They've got a lot of really interesting stratagems. They've got one guy who can come out of reserve and get a guaranteed rerollable 7-inch or 7 on the dice charge. It gets sick. So basically what he took is he took Cypher, 1, 2, 3 Dark Commune, a Trader Enforcer.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, I know, right? And Brian's no slouch. When I looked him up, I think he's like number 20 ranked in Canada. The guy knows how to play. He's a freaking good player. Oh, and by the way, just as a heads up, everyone who's watching this, some of these lists are going to be odd. If it sounds like I'm talking down to them, I am not. Everyone who's at this tournament is a freaking great player. There's going to be some lists I might not understand or Sheto might not understand, but we are not going to be overlooking anyone here because this tournament is nothing but sharks. So don't misunderstand tones if we sound fairly dismissive of a list here or there, because what I'm assuming is if I don't understand the way a list works, that just makes me even more scared of the person because, oh crap, I don't understand how this works. Because I'm assuming everyone here is a shark because everyone here is a freaking shark. So one Trader Enforcer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Cultist Mobs, Rhino, and then the 3 massive Accursed Cultist Blobs with double Vindicator, single Forge Fiend, and Nurglings. Wow, that's a lot of units.
All right, so the Enforcer is just running solo.
I think so, man. Yeah. Because he normally just goes with Trader Guardsmen, right? He can't run the Cultist Mobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe he just happened to have 65 points exactly, and that's what fit.
I mean, it's not a bad like action doer that just hides and then just gets ignored, and then you find out that it scored him 20 points by just sitting there, cleansing, recovering, containing. You don't want to shoot at it, because since it's not an attached unit, you can take the leaders on the commander before you take it on the Ogren. It'll count as toughness 6 with a 4-up, feel no pain on those 3 wounds, right? It's not bad.
I really didn't expect to be seeing triple ACDC on GW terrain, but hey, man, who am I to judge? Let's freaking find out. And and since Brian's in my pod, let's get some pairings, baby. All right, let's look at the next list from my pod. I've got Mr. Kit Smith Hanna. Now, Kit Smith, this guy, if you don't know about him, he's over at, oh crap, what are they called? They're called Warhammer, right?
Oh,
I don't want to get it wrong. They've got a company. They do great work. They actually do really good write-ups. Oh, darn it. It's going to bother me. If you guys in the chat remember the name of it's Warp something. Yeah, see if you can find it, Shetel, because I want to give them a shout-out, because Kit's a great guy. Kit is probably the single best list writer I know. The dude is really, really interesting. He's the guy who really started the double Storm Ravens and the Dark Angels at the beginning of the year. He always comes up with some really interesting things. And he came up with the Necron list, which, this thing slaps. It's very low on units, only 11 units. It's got the Silent King in it, so he's going to be giving the Ignore modifiers, which is always brutal. 1 Hex Mark, 2 Death Marks, Flayed Ones, 1 Solo Locust Destroyer, Canoptic Spiders, 2 Doomsday Orks, and 2 Monoliths. This army is here to teleport and kill. You can't armor contempt against them. You can't pop smoke to be -1 to hit for these guys. You are just hoping he doesn't roll well when he decides to start, because he will initiate the engagements. Is that about right, Shezel?
That's about right. This is super lethal on G-dubs. All the vehicles will have that 6-up feel no pain, making it just that much harder to kill. And it's G-dubs terrain. They will get angles. You can't hide from this.
There's nothing you can do.
If you can't kill it, then you're gonna struggle.
And the thing is, he will start because he gets to choose when the engagement begins, and that is very, very powerful here. So that's Kit. Kit, great list. It's terrifying. I hope we don't meet. All right, then we have Ryan Aegius. I probably butchered his last name. This guy is from Malta, and isn't this the guy who took the 7 greater demons to WTC and ruined everyone's day?
I am pretty sure this is our mutual new best friend from Malta. Yes.
Yeah, we hung out with him. He was a cool freaking guy. I'm sorry, man. I don't remember if this is you, but I'm pretty sure it's you. So shout out. This list terrifies me. I think I can handle it, but man, it is something I did not expect to see at the World Championship. So here it is, guys. We have the Changeling. Notice there's no other characters, meaning there's no big demons in this. This is a demons list with no big demons. 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Nurglings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of Pink Horrors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Plague Bearers, 2 Flamers, 3 Flesh Hounds. That's the list.
That is certainly interesting. Going back to the pink horde, now that people have sort of gravitated towards the big ones.
Dude.
My big question here is, can he handle any of the highway lists? The question then becomes, are there any highway lists? And I know there is at least one very vehicle heavy list going in, and I think that one might make this struggle. But it is certainly a stat check the list.
Dude, this list is made to score points and just make you cry. This list is made for a tournament where you have 4-hour rounds, and it is going to use those 4 hours. And that one highway list may or may not be mine. So let's look at, so that was number 3. This is the number 4 list that I really want to go through from my pod, and I have an honorable mention as well. So this is from Mr. Brian Jones. I think he's one of the Art of War Cats, if I'm not mistaken. He's one of the coaches. So he's running Imperial Knights. He's got Canis Rex, because how the heck do you run Imperial Knights without Canis? Of course you're going to bring Canis. Then you got double Knight Atropos. This guy's here to bust open some vehicles. He's got Mysterious Garden for the uppy downy on the one, and then he's got Revered Knight. And Revered Knight, that's the one where he can give 2 bondsman abilities out. Is that right? Or is that the sticky? That might be the sticky.
I don't remember.
Regardless, he's got the 2 Knight Atroposes. Those are the ones that are the anti-monster vehicles. And we've got 2 Warglaives. And that's it. That's all the knights. Then he just has a Calidus, a Calexis, Inquisitorial Agents, and a Subductor Squad. So the Calexis is an interesting little tech piece. He gets that 3-inch deep strike, which can really just kind of hurt people's feelings sometimes. What do you think about this one?
I like the Calexis play, I think.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
I think that you need some sort of agents maybe to get you some scoring and stuff. I am curious to if there's just too little knighty stuff so that it doesn't get to play its main game. There is another knight list that certainly plays the knight game coming up later. Yeah. And I think the difference between those is going to show itself.
Yeah, fair play. I think that's true. Chat just helped us out. Kit Smith, it is Warhammer. That is the name of their group. So thanks GT for bringing that up. Yeah, so in case you guys want to know who he is. So this was freaking Imperial Knights. So these are like the 4 lists that I think are just really... All right, there's a lot of lists in my pod that are really cool, but we're not going to stream for 7 hours and go through every single list. So I just chose these 4 for my pod to go through. There is an honorable mention. I just want to give a shout out to Jeremy Atkins, who's he was vice captain for Team Canada, and he actually has a pretty cool one. But it's triple Exorcist, and it's terrifying. And Jeremy, look at me, bro. We're friends now. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play your triple Exorcist. All right. So just shout out to him because it's a strong freaking list. This is not necessarily these are the guys that you have to watch out for because, guys, you have to watch out for everyone at this tournament. Shetzel, let's go through your 4, okay?
All right.
All right, so I'm going to open up your first one you sent me, and I believe this is Mr. Riley Tremblay.
Yeah, so, Eldar, they're still not out, right?
Eldar are not out.
They still exist. They're still there. The Dark Reapers are just super consistent in scoring. There's that little indirect.
Let's go through the list for everyone first and then break it down.
Yep.
So go ahead and read it out.
Yep. Starting with Irain, has to be the Warlord if you're going Inari, right? Mm-hmm. There's a Wave Serpent that's going to have something neat in it. It's a relatively durable tank. Mm-hmm. You got the 3 Dark Reapers, you got the Howling Banshees, the Striking Scorpion Infiltrators, the Swooping Hawks for actions everywhere, uppy downy. You got the big troop squad, and notably, like if you look at how many dudes there are in it, that's probably what's going into that Wave Serpent. Yep. You got Lilith, and you've got presumably her witches, mm-hmm. right? So Lilith and witches, and the troop squad. They both kind of have that little fight first type thing, so they're gonna most likely stick together after they get out of that Wave Serpent.
Well, I don't see the Vice Arc, right? So I don't think you get fight first on the troops.
No, but Lilith fights first.
Oh, yeah. So the Lilith is the
Yeah,
fight
so
first.
so the troops in the waves up and Lilith on the ground.
Yep.
Unless there's indirects or something, right?
Mhm.
And they're gonna stick together. They're gonna be buddy.
Yep.
And that's gonna be hard to get to, right?
Mhm.
Because you want to assault the troops so that they don't get their +1 to wound.
Yep.
But then Lilith will intervene, fight first. You'll die.
And you will die because she's.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have the Scourges. You know, a new layout or loadout that people like with the 1 lance and the 3 haywires, right?
Yep.
Just like this is Eldar good stuff, right? This is Inari good stuff. You got infiltrators, you got fight first. There's stuff. There's shooting. It's just neat. My worry is that, is it too MSU and fragile on GW?
There's nothing that can survive here. But it can kill basically anything, and it is fast. It can get all the points.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the next one. So I've got your, this is the second one, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know who this is. It's a Spanish. I believe this guy is from Spain.
Okay.
It's probably not his name because they use nicknames for some time. Like
Yeah, that's
you
true.
have Telocher, El Rojo, and stuff like that. I
Right.
don't know if that's his name. But basically, you got Canis, and that's the only big knight.
That is very fascinating. A single big knight IK list. I'm freaking here for it. I am absolutely here for it.
Then you got 3 Helverins.
Yep.
You got 6 Warglaves, a Sister of Battle Immolator, and a Battle Sister squad. So no agents, no assassins rather. But what you do have is you have that Sister squad to split up, sticky home, push forwards and whatnot, right?
They can screen stuff.
And the Immolator, very importantly, strips cover. That makes Canis a lot more effective. That means the Helverins are a lot more effective. The Warglaves don't really need it, right?
Sure.
So now you have AP1, possibly AP2 Helverins.
Ignoring cover.
Ignoring cover.
That's spicy, dude. That's really spicy.
And this style of list is something we saw winning a very big tournament in France recently. So this one is one to look out for.
Very cool. Real fast, let me hit chat real fast. We got a $5 super chat from Mass Brofex. Mass Brofex, you're my favorite guy in the world. I love you and I appreciate you. I can't wait to get back to America and smelling the freedom. Every time I go there, I just get more ripped, which is pretty sick. And then we got Ryan in the chat. Hey, Ryan. The demon list is him. He is the guy from WTC. And yes, Ryan, you and I are in the same pod. So bring it on, brother. Let's get a little game action going. So yeah, dude, I love your list. I'm a little scared of it, but I freaking love it. That's awesome. All right, sorry for the interjection. Chat, you guys rock. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. So let's go on to the next list. We have from Lachlan Rieg, and he's this is a Australian. Am I right?
That is an Australian indeed. He is coming a very long way.
Homeboy, yeah. If we complain about our flights, woo, jeez.
And this list is it's the one they call Khorne's first choice, and they call it that for a reason because this is what world leaders wish they were.
Yep.
At least nowadays, to be fair. You got that's the same D3 attachment on the captain. You got your Lone Ops. You got your Dante.
Lartes.
You got Lamardis for the Death Company.
No Sanguinor is interesting, but he did take the Lieutenant with combi weapon. Okay.
Indeed, because this is probably meant to be more passive based on the 2 ballistas that you have there, right?
Yeah.
So you got the Impulsor for the trading.
Mm-hmm.
You got the ballistas for a little bit of shooting. And then you have a single infiltrator squad. And this is something that we will probably see as a trend in the list towards the top. Is that everyone will have at least 1 unit of nothing within 12.
Of Deep Shadow now, yeah.
Yeah, that is something you will probably see become very, very popular after the WCW, and probably something that will very typically defy the top lists.
Yep.
To round it out, 6 Sanguinor Guard, 3 Sanguinor Guard, 3 Sanguinor Guard. They're trading pieces. They fight relatively hard. They're a bit tough to kill. So, lone ops,
This,
fighting, a
this
little
is
bit
the
of shooting.
one thing I've seen that every Blood Angel list, including mine, takes the 6-man Vanguard with Dante.
Yeah, I don't think you ever go away from that
No,
nowadays,
you
right?
have
At
to.
least in Liberated.
The way I look at it, I think it just enables the list. I think this is a good list. I would like to have seen like the Calidus in here, but you know what? I think he's built something pretty strong here. I'm a fan of the 3-man Vanguards. I just think 135 is a little too expensive for them, which is why I wasn't bringing them. But I do like having a bonus little 3-man Vanguard unit. So that's cool. Lachlan, well done. And then we got Brent Simon. That sounds American if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, this the name of the list is very typical for it. Inside you are 2 wolves. This is too many wolves.
Fair play.
And that's what the list is. You have Bjorn, the Dreadnought character. You got Logan Grimnar, Ragnar Blackmanes, and then Wolf. This is as many Thunderwolves that you can ever get in a list.
Whoa, 3 battle leaders and 3 wolf lords. Damn.
And this is the list. There's 3 units of Thunderwolf Cav, an Imposer with Assault Intercessors, and probably Ragnar with them.
Yeah.
Logan Grimnar alone, a Wolf Scout squad, and that's the list. And that's why it's interesting. Because that's all it is.
It is Stormlance, so it does have the crazy movement, but I don't see. Do you see the enhancement for the?
They
don't have it. They don't have the Strat Reserve turn 1. They have Portents of Wisdom, but that's not it's not Hunter's Instincts, so they don't get to come in from Strat Reserve turn 1 with this list.
Yep, this is purely, and I'm gonna deploy here, and I'm gonna run up, and if you can't deal with that, we're sitting on your side of the table for the rest of the game.
You know what? Real talk. If you're running at an 8-man, like 8 round, maybe 9 round super major like this one, there's a rationale behind just having dude, I'm gonna do the same thing every game, and I'm gonna go for it. Like there is real rationale because you don't really mess that up.
Yep.
I kind of like the idea behind it, to be honest with you. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, like this will be fine until he runs into, for example, that Canis Rex list, and then Canis might just pick one squad apart while the rest of the knights take the other ones, right? And that's sort of the gamble you do with these kind of lists.
It is a gamble, definitely. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see a list like this go pretty high up, just off of the nature of that. You get the pairings, it's going to run straight forward.
Yeah, is it going to make it out of the pods? Maybe not. Right? Am I going to make it out of the pods at top? Maybe not.
Dude, these pods are competitive. I don't think anyone is expecting to make it out of a pod, to be honest with you. I'm not. You and I are both going to do our best to do it, but I don't think anyone's expecting for it.
Oh yeah, like I say, I'm aiming for best in faction. I have to compete with Richard Siegler for that, so you know.
Yeah, I take you over Siegler any day. Siegler, you're a nice guy, I like you, and you're very skilled, but I got to back my boy Shetted here. All right, so what we did is I pulled up some other really interesting ones. If there are any really fascinating lists that we've kind of missed here, feel free to chat them in, and we can pull them up. Shetzel, also feel free to jump in here, but I've just got a few that I kind of wanted to point out, and because I thought they were basically sick. So I've got this one here, which kind of blew my mind. It's from Michael Armour. And this is one of those armies that I want to preface this with. I do not understand this army. It seems bad to me. With the understanding when I say that, I respect every single person who's going to be at this tournament, and I'm looking forward to finding out what I'm missing when I see this list. So, we got Shield Host. The only character, this is for Custodes, Shield Host, the only character is a Dawn Eagle jet bike captain. So a captain on jet bike. And from Halls of the Armies, I believe that's the enhancement that gives him +1 damage on his weapon.
Damage and strength.
And strength, yeah. And when you stack that with his lance, it does pretty decent on him. So then he has 1 Rhino, double grab tanks, 2 Calidus Dreadnoughts. Now, these are the guys with the shield, which gives them the 4 invulnerable save. These guys only move 6. I'm stunned to see these in a army. I don't think I've actually seen a single Dreadnought in any...
shit. Is this going to be 8 Dreadnoughts?
Bro, 1
It
and
is.
2 Telemon heavy dreadnoughts. These are the -1 damage dreadnoughts that have no shooting at all. Like, okay, and then we have 2 Contemptor dreadnoughts. These are the dreadnoughts that come back to life on a 2-up. And then double Witch Seekers and 2 Navigators. I adore the Navigator tech. You have to be able to screen your backfield.
I like this list for the same reason I like the Wolf Jail. There's gonna be some people that just can't deal with these dreadnoughts.
I don't know if that's true, bro. They move 6 inches. But I
No,
hope
tell
it's
them
true. I hope it, they
that-
move 8. They move 8, yeah.
Yeah, and they fight fairly okay.
5 attacks.
And they did get cheaper, and there's a lot of them with a 2-up save, -1 damage, 12 wounds for that's a lot to go through.
There is a certain charm to the list, and you know what, man? I really wanted to highlight it because while I don't necessarily think it's gonna do the job, I've got all the salutes in the world for this guy, and when he performs, because you know I'm gonna go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt and say he will perform. I'm gonna do a stream and I'm gonna apologize publicly, and then I'm gonna run it because this is sick. I love this list. I hope it does a lot better than I think it will. Yeah, so that was the first Custodes list. There was one other Custodes list, but this is a Vanguard Onslaught list from a gentleman named. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this. If we have any Frenchmen in the house, help me out. Amy Jacquin, maybe, and he is running Vanguard Onslaught, which is the advance in charge detachment for your Tyranids. He's got a Broodlord, he's got a Death Leaper, he's got a Neuro Tyrants, and he's got a Winged Tyranid Prime. 1 unit of Gargoyles, Biovores, Gene Stealers, Gene Stealers, Gene Stealers. Oh, look at this! Shetel, do you want to read what that unit is?
Oh my fucking god! He's coming from France with that,
dude. Oh boy, he's rocking a Harridan, bro. He's bringing the Harridan. He's doing it. What a freaking Chad.
I mean, I'm nervous flying with Iron Striders and Taraxi.
I'm hoping.
How
Go ahead.
is he gonna travel with a gun in the case for this thing just so that they handle it like a baby?
Bro, I am hoping and praying he's got a buddy in the States who just has one, and he doesn't have to bring it with him.
I certainly hope so, that he's getting like one of the Quebecois going, right?
Dude, homeboy is rocking a Harridan. I don't think anyone would have ever thought about what if a Harridan shows up in their list building. But yeah, guys, so we got a Harridan coming up. Real quick, we got Mr. Mass Brofect in the chat. He wants me to break down other unique Blood Angel lists if we have the time. I could definitely take a little bit of a look at that when we get through a few more of these. But there were some most of the Blood Angel lists that I saw were pretty generally going to be in the lines of 1 Sanguinary Guard unit, double Death Company units, or 2 Sanguinary Guard units. I think everyone pretty much fell within that in that general purview of it. But we'll take a look. Now, this next list I pulled up here, Shetzel, this is near and dear to my heart because I desperately wanted to bring the Orks to the World Championships of Warhammer, but I chickened out. I bitched out. I just did. But this is something this is my favorite Ork list I've seen. This is from Mr. Bradchester himself, Old Man Warhammer. This list came to do one thing, and this list came to freaking crump. Homeboy brought not 1, not 2, but 3 beast bosses, meaning he's got 3 units of beast snagas to go along with it, of course. Those beast bosses, when they hit the charge, they're going to get dev wounds on 4s against monsters and vehicles. He's got Gaz, to kill anything with. He's got double war boss and a Zodgrod Wart Snaga. Like we said, so we've got the 3 beast snagas. He's got 1, 2, 3 trucks, 4 of the beast snaga boys. He's got a 10 mana flash kits, and then a 5 mana flash kits. A 20 man, not the 10 man, he's got the 20 man of Grots. The assumption is that's where he's going to be throwing Zodgrod in. With 2 units of Gretchen, 2 Mega Knobs to babysit Mr. Gazgul, a 5-man knob, a 5-man knobs. So those are running with the 2 war bosses, and then 2 Storm Boys. This list is simple and does one freaking thing. And that is, it's going to go kill what it goes for. I don't know if it's got enough units, but damn, homeboy chose violence when he made this list. And who am I to say anything negative against King Orc? Because, Brad, I dub thee King Orc right now. Go ahead.
Nope, go for it.
So
I will dig it.
I've just got 2 more lists that I pulled up, and then if you've got some pulled up, then we'll grab them, okay?
Yep.
So this next one I have is Mr. Chris Haynes. If you guys don't know Chris Haynes, he was the captain. I don't know if he's the captain this coming year, but for like the last 2 years, he's been the captain of Team Canada. Great guy. Really enjoy him. He's a long-term Custodes player, and he's bringing more of what I would expect to see of Custodes. It's not a Dreadnought party, but I do like to give a little shout out to the Custodes because, once again, I'm not brave enough to be writing them right now, so I'm glad other people are carrying the torch. We've got 1 Blade Champion, once again in Shield Hills. Blade Champion, and we've got Valerian. Now, I think Valerian is just the coolest pick. I think just him giving the permanent AOC and melee just really, really helps Custodes against a multitude of opponents. So the Blade Champ's probably going with the Custodian Guard, and then we've got Rhino, 2 Grav Tanks, Wardens. Oh, actually, so the Custodian Guard are going to be solo. Valerian and the Blade Champ are both going to be with a unit of Wardens. Then we've got Prosecutors, 2 units of 3 Venatari, Witch Seekers, Caldus, and Inquisitor Jaxus. Now, he's got a lot of action monkeys here, which I found to be a little interesting how many action monkeys he did. He went 3 units of Prosecutors and the Rhino. I'm not sure he has enough hitting power here, but I don't think the list is made to really hit. So I am really fascinated to see how this goes. And then the last list I have, and then we're going to get some of the ones that you've picked out, Mr. Sheffield, this is a Champions of Rust army that I just like looks really, really interesting. From Mr. Andrea Costa, homeboy is rocking Wolf Jail and Champions of Rust. This was a little bit unexpected. So he's got Bjorn, Logan, Grimnor. Similar to the other one we saw, we've got 3 Wolfguard battle leaders on Thunderwolves and 1 Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf. So we've got 2 units of JPI, an Infiltrator squad. Just like everyone saw, man, those Infiltrators, you're going to need to screen your backfields. Scouts, and then the 3 squads of Thunderwolf Cavalry and 2 squads of Wolfen. Shetzel, what do you think, man? I gotta imagine this army is always going to start with the Advance and Charge portion of the Champions of Rust, right? The Advance and Charge saga. Is there any other one that they would ever start with, like maybe Sustained or?
No, I think that's a pretty fair assumption.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just sick, man. I think it's a really cool one. I haven't had any experience into Champions of Rust. I actually saw maybe 4 different Champions of Rust lists when I was going through everything, and I think there might be something that I need to prep for a little bit. I tell you one type of army that I saw a bunch of that I'm really thinking I need to prep for now. Is I saw a lot of Biosanctic Brood Surge. We don't see all too much of that over here. Maybe that's a little bit more popular in the Canada and North and America.
I mean, I think it's mostly because almost nobody plays it here.
Yeah, sure, that probably makes sense. But like even like ours in like Tryhard and the online leagues, I just don't see it very much. So I think I need to get a few practice matches into it before we go.
Yeah, I mean, if we think about like who plays consistently, there's like 2 or 3 people that consistently play GSC in these European tournaments that we participate a lot in, even online, right?
Yeah, I might need to maybe give Mr. Danny Porter a shout to see if he wants to give me a little spanking so I can figure out how to handle that. All right, Shetzel, give me some of yours. Give me some of your interesting picks that you saw.
All right. Look at this one. This is François Lalonde.
François Lalonde.
Representing...
What?
Oh, you're not going to get that because he has the French Quebec in C. I sent you the link.
Oh, how do I... Oh, nothing's popping up at all.
Oh, it's also because you're on page like 500 or something.
Is it?
So it doesn't... Yeah, BCP doesn't take you to the first page whenever you search for things.
Oh, gotcha. François?
No, the C is weird, so it disappears.
Oh, jeez.
Just click the link in Discord.
No, I got it. I found him. I got him right here.
Oh, there he is.
All right, cool. Let's pull them up. All right. Oh, Blood Angels. So, Mr. Mass Brofek, this is for you. Oh, this is, of course, this is Canadian Francois, right? He's an amazing Blood Angel player, so this is actually really cool to see. Why don't you walk us through
That's
this?
right. That's right. So I want to buy like the list is very much the same for like the characters. He got Salone
Yep.
Lamartis, Dante, Sanguinor, the captain.
Nice. I love the
got-
Sanguinor.
he's-
Good pick.
He's got the intercessor. He's got the impulsor.
Hmm.
He's got the jump intercessors. The
Mhm.
Death Company. 2 squads of infiltrators.
Ooh, doubled up on that.
But-
Interesting.
But then his flavor choice in this list is where it's interesting.
Aha. Okay.
2 Vindicators.
The double Vindy.
So I think a lot of people are figuring out, like, roughly-ish what you're figuring out.
Yep.
You need some fire support in these Blood Angel lists now. You can't just overwhelm people anymore. You need to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more shooty.
Yeah, I think that's a general theme of all the Blood Angel players I know, is that we're all like, okay, we can't just kill stuff anymore. Like, we still kill, but we don't annihilate kill anymore. So the double Vindicator is pretty interesting. That's a cool one. I like that. Double Vindy. I had considered in my list to be running a double Vindy. Let me bring my list up real fast. Just so people can see it. It's available for everyone to see. I'll briefly run through it. I found something very similar. I'm pretty sure I've got the most unique Blood Angel list out here. It is named #The Bloody Road, everybody. I did model it initially after the beautiful Mr. Kevin Zollinger's Austrian highway list. So shout out to him for giving me the inspiration for it. But this is a little bit different, guys. So I went with Chief Librarian Mephiston. I've got Dante, and I got Sanguinor. Those are my 3 main characters. Then I've got 1 unit of JPI. I would have loved a second, but I've got 1. 1 unit of Infiltrators. You have to screen your backfield. A 6-man Sandguard unit. Like I said, every single Blood Angels list out there has the 6-man with Dante. 1 Scout Squad. 2 Ball Predators. 1 Ballistus Dreadnought. 2 Gladiator Lancers. 2 Predator Destructors. And then the Khalid Assassin. So just for you guys to like kind of get a peek at maybe a little bit of a different list, I brought a lot of firepower here, just to give you guys some breadth of some interesting concept of what you can do with Blood Angels. It doesn't have to be one style of list. So this is me, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to perform. Shetzel, give me something else. What else you got?
All right. Look up a guy named Max Kanter.
Max Kanter. Ooh, Germany. Leagues of Votann.
Yes, sir.
An interesting Leagues of Votann.
This is the thing. Before you scroll down,
Okay.
we've talked a little bit about this on the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
What armies are currently being underappreciated
You have.
or underestimated in what they can do?
Absolutely.
That is not the case for Votann. We identified Votann as something that people are sleeping a bit on, at least in our local area and
Agreed.
what we see talk about online. But that's because we don't exist in the German sphere of Warhammer.
Right.
In Germany and German-speaking areas, you've got the highway as one of the terrors, and then you have this list as one of the other terrors, allegedly.
Okay.
I've heard these people going very hard on this, and both the Votann lists from Germany are the exact same list.
Okay. Well then, heck yeah, let's break this down. 14 units. That's pretty good. We got a broke here. Oh, sorry. After you, sir. You do it.
Yeah. No, you go for it. Let's see if you see what they're actually doing here.
Okay, fair play. So we got the Brokir Iron Master, and he's got the Appraising Glare, which is going to be giving them the bonus Judgment Token every turn. We've got 1 Einhar Champion, and with an axe. That's interesting. 10 Hearthkin. Oh, 10 Hearthkin. So he's got 20 Hearthkin. Ooh, 20 Berserks. 10 Jaegers. The 6 Pioneer. Oh, okay. 12 Pioneers. 2 Fortresses. And then 3 Sagittars.
So that's not enough. That's not enough Sagittars to split all the units, all the 10-man units.
It is not.
So what's going where here? I don't actually know, right?
Well, the Hecatons are going to be full of the 2 Berserks. because you can get 10 berserks in each hekaton.
Not in Land Fortress. It's a 5. I think it's only 5 limit.
No, I think it's the exo suits take up 2 spots, right? So the hekaton should give us. Here, why don't you pull it up real quick to make sure?
But either way, right?
Yeah.
This is a terror in Europe
On
WTC terrain.
Yeah, right.
This might be one of the lists where they find out that, oh shit, I didn't build properly for the terrain that we're facing, right?
GW terrain.
Because on some of the layouts, the ruins are very far apart. And they've got little stubby feet. They only move 5 inches. There's no advance in charge, right?
Right.
So what do you do? Where do they go? Who do they go with? And the transport capacity is 12, by the way.
Okay, yeah. So he can definitely get the 10 berserks in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just used to it being 5 half guard.
Right.
So
it's fascinating.
So what does it do? Right? It fights really hard if it gets to you.
Right.
What they do on WTC terrain is that they park the transports up so that the transports all look at one objective, and then they can charge you onto another.
Right. Yep.
Like they can just delete you from objectives if you dare go to them. Can't necessarily do exactly the same on GW.
So this is a point.
So I'm sure they're practiced with the list, right? So they know what the list can do.
Mm-hmm.
Question is, can they adapt to GW layouts?
Which brings us to a point that chat had asked earlier. Who do we think is like the favorite to really take the win this year? I would say your Americans and your Canadians are always going to be favored at this tournament, simply because if you're a European, you're probably more adapted to WTC terrain. That doesn't mean it has to be true, but it's probably true. If you're playing the UK, you're going to be adapted to UKTC terrain. I gotta tell you, as I've been preparing for this tournament, I've had to change my army like 6 times just because what you can run on WTC does not necessarily run on GW terrain. The terrain layouts and the actual missions that are played are so different. You get a big advantage by just being used to GW terrain. So that is really a concern for a lot of people who are going through it. There are some names that are surprisingly missing from the roster this year. For example, Manny Chima has not come this year. I think he publicly announced that he's going to step back from playing so much because he's trying to focus on his business. So mad respect to him, but we're not going to see him this year. Innes Wilson is not going to be there this year. There's a bunch of the bigger players who aren't going to show up. Although there are, of course, a ton of major amazing players who will be there. So I'm not sure who the favorite to wins are. I will say Imperial Guard is stupidly strong, and John Lennon piloting Imperial Guard is a terrifying proposition. Let me pull him up real quick if you guys haven't seen his list. Dude. So he's got Leontis, he's got a command squad, a platoon squad, 1 tank commander, 1, 2, 3 jungle fighters, 1, 2 chimeras, so he's got all the scout moves he needs, 1 hellhound, triple hydra. Shetzel, why did you get triple hydra?
So this is a thing I have seen before. I think I mentioned that Andrew Gonyo ran it at Cali Cup.
Okay.
And there's a lot of fly running around. Blood Angels is a thing.
Sure.
Wraiths are a thing.
Yeah.
Necrons are a thing, right? They all fly.
Yep.
These autocannons are anti-infantry or anti-fly 2 up.
Fair play.
They can benefit from Fields of Fire and the Exterminator, so they'll be possibly AP3.
Right.
The Hellhound removes cover.
Right.
They are super cheap.
Very.
And they reroll hit against fly, so they don't necessarily need orders.
Cool.
Right, so they're just very efficient Chimera chassis.
Okay, and it's still like just a little tank that's hanging out there that and tanks aren't like easy to remove. I mean, it does. Fair play.
Yep.
It's not going to hurt his feelings if he does an action with one of those. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like these are tanks that are just going to sit there. They're going to smoke. They're going to action. They're going to shoot. While the Leman Russes Because you got to deal with the Hydras eventually.
Right.
Or you're gonna shoot the Leman Russes and the Hydras are just gonna plonk you down. Right? You have to pick. And even if you're not fly, they're twin linked.
Yep. Okay.
It's just super efficient.
Dude, that's pretty cool. And then he's going to back it up with double Leman Russ battle tanks. That's the 48-inch strength 10 AP1 damage 3 gun, right?
Is it 48? No, it's 48 or 7. It's enough.
Yeah, it's not the Demolisher, because that's the 24-inch one. So he's got two battle tanks, and then he's got the Exterminator.
I'm a little bit surprised that all of these have multi-meltas. Because these are tanks that don't necessarily want to go forward. However, since he has the Hydras, presumably his idea is to lead with the battle tanks and then have the Hydras mop up at the end.
Dude, I can see it, man. And you know what? It's still 13 wounds T2. Like, these things aren't necessarily easy to pop.
Yeah.
And then he's
minus
got
1 damage.
The Exterminator gives the extra AP, so like you said, so we can get things to the huge AP on this. Now, this is fascinating to me. I'm really surprised to see that he's only got 2 units of equivalence and he's not running the third. But
it is a thing I've been seeing after the rapid ingress nerf.
Okay.
Because typically one of them would be rapid ingressing, and then you drop the next 2 to just like put up that layer of move blocking.
Yep.
And you just don't see that anymore. Like, rather spend those points on the Scion squad with the command squad to just like pop down and delete an infantry unit.
Oh, that's why he's got the command squad. So he runs that with the Scions, so that when they land, they can still give themselves an order. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's 3 plasma guns. They have sustained rerolls, lethals against infantry, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes a lot more sense to me. Cool. Okay.
And notably, Kuros Aquila, Vectora.
Oh, that's a Vectora. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you can teleport that bad boy down. If you want to overwatch them, it's going to cost you 2 now. Oh, that's cool. I like it.
And you can reinforce the command squad.
Oh,
they have the regiment keyword.
So you can bring that thing back to life.
Yes, sir.
You can bring characters back to life with that oh my gosh, I hate Guard.
No, you can bring things with regimental keywords back to life. And the Tempestuous command squad has that keyword.
That's I hate Guard so much. Oh, GW, why you do this to me? All right, so I think that's a terrifying list. So I think John's definitely in the running. There's some other guys out there as well.
Yep, and this is a list very tailored for GW layouts.
Yeah, certainly.
You can't necessarily run that many vehicles with Guard on WTC tables because you will just get overrun and tagged with everything.
Too much. Too many staging points for people to hit.
Yep.
So guys, I think we're at like 47 minutes. If you guys have an extra list I
have one more.
Forgive me.
That I think you're gonna love.
Dude, bring it up.
Michael Mann.
Oh, I do actually. I saw this one and I was thinking about bringing it up, but I'm glad you did. All right, so guys, as we pull this list up, if you have anything else you want us to check us out, make sure you put it in the chat. So this is Mr. Michael Mann himself. Michael's awesome. He is actually doing it, guys. He is bringing the Dread Mob. Now, here's the deal about the Dread Mob. Dread Mob have the potential to just do insane things. However, it's a 50-50 shot that they're just going to blow themselves up when they do it. And when I say 50-50, actually it's 33-66, but whatever. Don't at me. And I love the list. I think it's a blast. I do not have the balls to run this. So I am really excited to see what Michael's going to do with it. Here we go. We've got triple big mechs with shock attack guns. One is going to be ignoring cover. Just starting off strong, guys. Double mech. One Zodrog Wartsnaga for the big scout move. And actually, Zodrog in Dread Mob is insanely good. Because in the WA phase, if they do the reactive move, he gets to reactive move really far. 120 mana Grots, which will definitely go with Zod. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 mana units of Grots. So 6 units of Grots in there. Tons of reactive moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks. And he's got the 2 mechs to like buff trucks with the shooting potential. He's got 1 and 2 10-mans of Killicons. So those 2 trucks that have not Killicons, sorry. 2 10-mans of flash kits. So the 2 trucks that he's got the flash kits in are almost certainly going to be getting the mech buff. So those flash kits are going to be hitting at 4s with sustained hits outside of the truck using the truck's firing deck ability. 1 5-mana Killicons, so he's going to stack all the buffs for the reroll hit rolls. He's going to do it plus damage on the Killicons, and he's going to let them like kill themselves, and he's not going to care because they're going to wreck faces when they do it. 3 units of Ludas going with the shock attack guns, and then 3 solo mech guns. Shetzel, this list is awesome.
I think it's gonna take a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, if you're not prepared for what reactive moving grots that cause mortal wounds and stuff can do, it'll hurt people's feelings.
I think nobody is prepared for it, and it won't get. I think it has a good chance to make it out of pods. Just for the fact that nobody knows how to deal with it, and it'll probably push points hard against the people that aren't prepared.
My problem with basically all Dread Mob is that just every now and then, you guys don't have to play them because they just beat themselves. that's my problem with Dread Mob. You got 8 or 9 rounds you got to play. Like, what's the chances one of those games you just kill yourself and then you lose because your opponent didn't have to shoot a gun? But dude, his bravery and his brass balls for running this. Big shout out to Michael, man. Is Liam VSL playing? I don't think Liam is playing. Did you see him on the roster?
I don't believe so. I think a lot of the European top names just
he's not.
They couldn't afford this year, or just too fatigued from a very thick schedule in Europe, so that this ultimately became like too expensive and too time consuming, because a lot of these people, jobs, university, all that kind of stuff, right? So we have to go midweek,
right?
And not a lot of people can do that in the lead up to Christmas.
That's true. Going like because even though like we're able to go, we're in and out, right? Because I think we land on the 20th in the afternoon, and then we leave on Monday the 25th. Like, so we land, we start playing, we take off. My wife is pregnant. We've got a baby due on January 5th. Blessings. And if this was happening in December, I wouldn't be able to go because that's a little too close to the birth. Babies can come early, but in November, I'm doing it. Shetzel runs a really successful business, and he is required, so he's got to be in and out. So we are, even us who have flexible schedules, still in and out. Definitely still in and out. But yeah, so guys, this is awesome. I got tons of cool lists in here. Just pull up BCP yourselves and go through some of these. There's some crazy combinations in here that I'm sure we're not seeing, but this was just a taste, a little flavor, if you will, of some of the really cool things that we have. Shetzel, what'd you got?
And I believe the event is sponsored, so you don't need a subscription to view the lists.
Oh,
I believe
really?
it is one of the promoted events.
Oh, cool! Right on. So if anyone in the chat wants to confirm whether or not this is like the lists are free on BCB, because sometimes they do that. This is sick, guys. I can't wait. Shetzel and I are gonna do a little thing every single night, so we're gonna kind of keep you guys updated on how the pod phases go and how the championship rounds go when Shetzel and I inevitably face off in the finals. That of course that's gonna happen, obviously. And appreciate all your support. Appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, crump on, baby.